It's great to have you join us on the Valuechain TV News Update. I'm Anastasia Adeze with the news. Welcome. Africa's food, energy, and manufacturing crises are threatening the continent's economic growth, with urgent solutions needed to address these challenges. This was disclosed in an exclusive interview with Valuechain TV by the former Minister of Hydrocarbons, later Finance, Equatorial Guinea, His Excellency Gabriel Mbaga-Lima, at the sideline of Africa Energy Week in South Africa.
Well, you see, we all in our continent are suffering on three major crises that we need to recognize it. Like any doctor, you need to know what's your sickness to be able to fix it. The first one is the food crisis. And when I speak about food crisis, is the difficulty of feeding our own people. It's very ironic that before independence and during independence, we were self-sufficient. We even were exporting food from Africa to other continents. But now we almost import 80%. And it's mainly because we do not process our own food like we used to do before. The second one is energy crisis. We are exporting our raw materials very cheap and buying refined products more expensive. And the third one is the manufacturing crisis. It's very difficult for us to compete and create products with other areas, mainly because the manufacturing are suffering with very high cost of commodities. So to be able to solve this problem, we thought that we design something that other continents have done. Europe have a European pipeline system that goes from France, Belgium, Switzerland, Italy, that they share their commodities from refined products, gasoline, the rest. In the United States, you have places like Houston, especially Texas, that receive products that distribute to the entire United States. In China, you have the Bombay area, where at the same time you receive in Bombay and you distribute to China.
Mbaga-Lima called for urgent solutions, urging African nations to develop internal markets, enhance regional cooperation, and pursue policy harmonization to unlock Africa's economic potential.
We need to focus how to create our own market. Because when they talk about this decarbonization, they're saying you need to stop producing oil and gas because our market are not going to need it because we are going to go electric. Before that time comes that they say we don't need your oil and gas, we will have created our own market that we say that's fine, you don't want it, we will use it ourselves because it's very important for our industrialization. So this pipeline system requires three things very important. First, cooperation in different countries in Central Africa. That is very important. Secondly, we need to harmonize all the different standards because it's not normal that refined products in Lagos is in one price, in Douala it's a different price, in Malabo different price. When we're talking an area of 300,000, a diameter 300,000, that it's impossible to go into the United States and the gasoline price in Houston is extremely different than Washington. So the only way you can achieve that is to create a general pipeline system that can share the different commodities. The first thing that we have done, we have presented the COMSEC idea to all the head of state of the CEMAC area. This is Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, Central Africa, Chad, and Congo, Brazzaville. All the head of state have agreed with the concept, they have given instruction to the minister, cooperate with this new initiative so we can do it. We have other countries like Angola, DRC, Burundi, and Rwanda. Now, one of the critical things, we have chosen countries that have the two key resources, oil and gas and mining, because those are the two resources that we are exporting it in raw material. We are trying to combine and put together the hydrocarbons and the mining, because clearly when you put the hydrocarbon together with the mining, you are able to transform. So like I was saying before in the energy crisis, if we combine it, we will not sell our resources cheap. We will sell a combined product that will be more expensive to do that.
Mbaga-Lima also emphasized Africa's readiness to adopt renewable energy, but cautioned that it should be implemented in ways that suit Africa's needs.
We are ready to use the renewable, but we need to use it like the Americans, the European, and the Asian are using it. The American, the European, and the Asian, for example, are using the panels for heating the water. They are using the solar panel for maybe lights for the wall. They are using some of the wind for some batteries, but they are not using neither solar nor wind for industry. They're still using oil, coal for using. So the answer is that there is enough space for all the other energy use. We need to use oil for the big powers. We need to use gas for the power. We need to use the solar panel for the heating. If you go to Spain, an example, you see all the houses, they have solar panels. But you ask them, that solar panel is for electricity? No. For the light? No. That solar panel is just for heating water. But none of them are using entire solar panel for the entire house. When you have the wind, they have that wind is for some specific batteries. But when they come to Africa, they say you have to be only solar, only wind. Do you do it? No. So the answer is yes, we are ready, but use. For example, if we are in a village in Equatorial Guinea, in Nigeria, use solar panel to heat the water and the light at night. But don't use it for your house. Why? Because in the house you have a television, you have an iron, you have a microwave, and the solar is not going to be able to do it. You need a generator for that. So the idea is that we need to be intelligent to use renewable on what we need to use it, not everything. So clearly I'm not saying not to use it. I'm saying we can combine all the different resources, but using renewable doesn't mean that you need to forget about the other one.
Still on the ongoing African Energy Week in Cape Town, the Group Managing Director of UTM Floating LNG Limited, Julius Roy, highlighted the company's key achievement and future plans, which includes the recent signing of a $350 million term sheet with Afrexim Bank to support their first floating LNG project. This deal is part of a broader debt syndication effort aimed at financing the innovative project, which is set to be a game changer in Africa's energy landscape.
This is our third edition where we're participating as a diamond sponsor. For us, the Africa Energy Week is promoting Africa values and then Africa companies' potential in the energy space, right? And being the foremost company in Africa developing the first floating LNG, it only makes sense for us to be here. And in this year edition, we just signed the term sheet with Afrexim Bank for $350 million for the first floating LNG as part of the debt syndication of our project. We've also had several meetings with other financial institutions that are bringing in funding into the project, like the Rand Merchant Bank, Standard Bank of South Africa, Standard Chartered Bank. So for us, this edition is quite robust and quite interesting. We're participating in the next section, which is the Africa LNG and floating LNG technology concept and the progress so far in Africa. So this year is quite packed, and we started back-to-back meetings over the past 3 days since we arrived, and we believe that we're going to close this year Africa Energy Week very strong.
He further commended President Bola Tinubu's administration's support for energy investment, while noting that incentives are being offered to companies involved in the development of both offshore and onshore gas resources in Nigeria. The floating LNG project will contribute over 500,000 tons of LPG to the Nigerian market, helping to reduce cooking gas prices and create employment opportunities for over 7,000 Nigerian youth.
In Africa, already there are 3 floating LNG in Africa. There's one in Cameroon, there's one in Mozambique, there's one in Congo, right? And then there's one that's coming into Senegal. But for Nigeria, we are more of a gas nation. And this is the first time a Nigerian company is developing a floating LNG. And this will be the first floating LNG in Nigeria. And we must say that all this is at the back of the current administration support for gas development, right? President Tinubu's administration has done so well as encourage investors to come in and put in the money to develop the gas, and a lot of incentives have been given to companies who want to develop gas, both offshore gas and then onshore gas. So on this this project alone, there are over 500,000 tons of LPG that will be used to support domestic markets. That in itself will reduce the price of cooking gas in every home in Nigeria. So that alone is a major benefit for the country. It will save us forex that we need to use to bring importation of LPG into the country, and also it will also encourage the locals to move from their energy source, from using the firewood to a cleaner energy, and also save the environment. So that is one. And above all, it's going to create employment for the teeming youth of the country. This project in itself have a value to employ over 7,000 people through the value chain. So that in itself will create employment, and then it will also create opportunity for Nigeria to earn from the project in terms of taxes and other royalties that will come out.
The need to emphasize on the domestic energy security across the upstream, midstream and downstream to the product distribution has been brought afore. This was disclosed by the Executive Chairman of A&AA Holdings, Mr. Austin Overo, at the ongoing Africa Energy Week in Cape Town, South Africa. He further said the regulatory directions are moving from the revenue of oil and gas sector to utilizing its activities to achieve energy security to cure energy's poverty. He also added that the demand capacity in the local market is not limited, but the level of growth and stability of the market.
I think the regulatory framework that we see today and the emphasis of government across the entire value chain, from the upstream all the way down to product distribution, emphasizes domestic energy security. So we're seeing a regulatory direction that is moving us away from just revenue from oil and gas activities into utilizing oil and gas activities to achieve energy security, to cure our energy poverty. So you're seeing, first, from the upstream point of view, you are seeing a regulatory push that now recognizes that there is some homegrown independents who are likely to be operating mainly in the near term, in the onshore and shallow water, while the IOCs move into the deep offshore, and that this shared responsibility among both independents and IOCs will complement the entire economy, Nigerian economy. So what you will then see to a reinvigorated industry, optimum production coming from both the mature fields in the onshore, fields in the deep offshore, and additional exploration efforts across all the basins. So that should lead in the medium term to optimum production. Then you go to the midstream, you are seeing a lot of gas processing developments going on, particularly with IOCs, intended to supply the 3 to 4 BCM per day of gas that the domestic economy requires, both for power generation, for heavy industries, for fertilizer, and so on and so forth. So that is beneficiation. That is enabling the oil and gas business, particularly the gas business, to be a major contributor to our GDP. Then you go to further into the midstream. You are now seeing the country becoming a refining hub. So we're going to a point where in the next 3 years, we'll probably have a refining capacity in excess of 1.2 million barrels a day. So even at a 2.5 million barrels per day type production, if we get there, you will see that half of our production is being refined locally. Now, if you're doing 1.2 million barrels refining capacity within the country, our consumption will probably not be much more than 400 to 500,000 barrels per day, which means you have a huge export potential for our refineries across the sub-region and even beyond. And then further down, we are now also seeing particularly independents in the product distribution and gas distribution business. So what you're seeing, as I said, is summarized, is an integrated business that earns revenue for the economy, but more importantly, supports the industrialization of the economy and contributes much more to our GDP than what we have seen in the past 60 years.
Still on the ongoing Africa Energy Week in Cape Town, the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDMB, has proposed an FID week to be held annually aimed at accelerating the signing of final investment decisions for new oil and gas projects. The proposal was disclosed by the NCDM Executive Secretary, Engineer Felix Obe, at the 2024 African Energy Week in Cape Town, South Africa. By fast-tracking these decisions, the NCDMB believes the proposal could reduce delays in oil and gas projects, ultimately enhancing Nigeria's oil production and attracting more investment to the sector. Thank you for staying with us. Let's go on a short break.
Welcome you to Africa Energy Week 2024.
I want to welcome everybody to this city, Cape Town, to Africa. Many call it Africa, we call it home. Welcome home.
Welcome back from the short break. You're still on the Value Chain TV News Update. Three oil marketers, AYM Shafa Limited and AA Rano Limited and Metrix Petroleum Services Limited, have asked the Federal High Court in Abuja to dismiss a suit filed by Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals challenging their insurance to import licenses. They argue that they are fully qualified to receive an import license from Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority (NMDPRA) in accordance with Section 317, subsection 9 of the PIA. The Dangote refinery said such licenses should only be issued in circumstances where there is a petroleum product shortfall, adding that the agency violates its stationary responsibilities under the Petroleum Industry Act (PIA) for not encouraging local refineries such as Dangote Refinery. The suit is dated September 6, 2024. And on power, Nigerian power distribution companies implement electricity meter price increase for the second time in 4 months. The new prices posted on the official X handle of the DISCOs are scheduled to take effect on the 5th of November 2024. It also reflects the deregulation of meter asset providers as directed by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NERC) to address the lingering issues of meter supply and pricing transparency within the electricity sector. And on aviation, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, recently held a stakeholder engagement meeting aimed at fostering a new partnership between the Nigerian Insurance Association (NIA) and Airline Operators of Nigeria (AON) on aircraft leasing. Festus Keyamo disclosed the meeting's outcome to newsmen following a closed-door session with various stakeholders in Abuja. He explained that the meeting was convened at the direction of the Vice President Kashim Shettima, who had urged him to engage with key parties on the issues surrounding aircraft insurance, the demands of international leasers and financiers, and how to reconcile these with the Nigerians' local content requirements. And on the international scene, the Nigeria Customs Service (NCS) has facilitated Nigeria's first shipment to Kenya, with Lucky Fibers, a subsidiary of the Tolaram Group, becoming one of the first companies to ship goods from Kenya under the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. Our correspondent, Ese Ufoma, completes the details.
During a visit to the Apapa Area Command recently to ensure proper documentation and verification of the shipment, the senior trade expert and lead of trade enablement at the Nigeria AFCFTA Coordination Office, Olusegun Olutayo, noted that the shipment from Nigeria to Kenya, specifically to the port of Mombasa, demonstrates the collaborative spirit of AFCFTA. He emphasized the critical role of the service as designated competent authority under AFCFTA, leveraging his expertise to ensure seamless trade. Ese Ufoma, reporting for Value Chain TV.
And finally on sports, the Las Vegas Lakers has suffered 4 consecutive losses to Memphis Grizzlies. However, LeBron James marks yet another remarkable achievement in the NBA. Our correspondent, Kabir Lawal, tells us more.
Amidst the loss suffered by the Los Angeles Lakers, falling 131-114 to the Memphis Grizzlies, LeBron James delivered stellar performance, scoring a high season 39 points on an efficient 15 out of 24 shooting, complemented by 6 rebounds and 6 assists. His impressive offensive effort pinpointed the ongoing importance of his presence on the court, especially in the absence of the all-star big man Anthony Davis. They also showcased their speed, raking up 27 fast break points, which proved detrimental to Los Angeles' chances. In addition to James, the Lakers received contribution from D'Angelo Russell, who tallied 12 points and 3 assists, and Austin Reeves, who added 19 points and 5 assists. Jaren Jackson Jr. and Jalen Wells also provided assistance off the bench, scoring 20 points to help seal the victory for the Grizzlies. For Valuechain TV, Kabir Lawal reported.
And that's it on the Value Chain TV News Update. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get the news on the go. I'm Anastasia Adeze. Many thanks for watching.